Okay, so I'm just gonna get right into it. In order to solve a 6x6, you do need to know how to solve a 4x4, but you do not necessarily need to know how to solve a 5x5 because everything in the 5x5 I'm gonna cover in the 6x6 tutorial. And if you want to watch my 4x4 tutorial, there will be a card on screen, I think is what it's called, and there will be a link in the description. Also, same thing with my 5x5 tutorial. If you want to learn how to do that, you're gonna learn how to solve a 5x5 by the time you know how to solve a 6x6 though. So let's get into this now. So I'm going to mix these up. 1, 2. All right, you know how to do the first part. What we got to do is we got to solve the centerpiece. So that's gonna be pretty easy to do. You can make a cross or you can just use intuition. I personally like to use intuition, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to make a cross. We got a little full bar right there is what I call it. And then edge piece right there that needs to go over here. Cross piece. Another cross piece. Okay, so now we have a cross. So now we have to fill in the corners. It's pretty easy. Okay, so next up is we have to do this center a little bit different than we do on the 4x4, because with the 4x4, all you have to do is make a yellow bar and then make another yellow bar down here, and then all you gotta do is, I need to move my light. Well, that's my camera, not my light. Then all you gotta do is this, and then when it's pretty easy to do on a 4x4. A lot different on a 6x6, I must say. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get either a bar right here or a bar right here. I need to move my light back over here so you guys can see this better. There we go. So we need to find this piece right here. So okay, so now we have a bar right there. And now next we need to make a bar down here, but there's an issue. This piece is up here and it needs to be in one of these areas, specifically right there or right there. So what we're going to do is pull it down, move it to the side, and push this back up. So now we have the room that we need necessary to make a full yellow bar right here. So let's do that. It's pretty easy to do. Kind of the same thing on a 4x4, just with more pieces. And then you do that algorithm to get a double bar. So now what you have to do is you need to make an outside edge, which you can do by doing this. So we're gonna make an outside edge. If you know how to solve a 4x4, you should know how to do this. Okay, now we need to make one more outside bar on here. We have the yellow piece right there. So we'll put a corner in, put that edge in, and do that. And now we have the yellow center. So on the 4x4, all we had to do was do this. It's kind of the same thing with a 2x2. Remember to make sure that this side, if you're doing red over here, always make sure that green's right here and white's right there. If yellow's right here and red right here, then blue, but white, we have white, red, so this needs to be green. So we have one bar right there, and then another one is over here, like that. And then orange will go right here, so solve it like that. And then what we want to do is make a red cross, similar to how we did with white and with white. And if you know how to solve a 5x5, similar to how we do it on a 5x5. So right here, I'm pretty lucky because I have 3 of the cross edges made. But what do I do in this situation where I have one of the pieces in, but there's another that's supposed to go right here? Well, don't panic, it's still really easy. All you have to do is search for that edge piece, and for us it's right here. So all we have to do, since it's on this side, we want to have it right here next on the center next to our red piece. So that's pretty easy. Again, make sure that the piece is out of our way on this side. Pull just 2 layers up like this, not a full slash, just the 2 layers, and then pull it back down and it'll be on the top now. So we're gonna line them up like this now, and we're going to do the following algorithm. And now we have a cross. So what we're going to do with this cross now is we're going to put the corners in. Now there's one algorithm for the corners that we have to put in, that we have to do in order to put the corners in, and it is this algorithm. Now there is a slightly different algorithm for the rest of the centers, but we'll get to that in a minute. For now, let's just walk through the rest of the corners. Now for this case, it's interesting. What you have two options really. What you can do, what I personally do, because it's easier for muscle memory, is just do that. Let me do that again. We just do this to make the corners go on this side, so it's easier for muscle memory. But there's another option. What you can do is keep it right here and actually learn a different algorithm, which is this. It's not really different, it's just a mirrored version. So now you know how to solve the 6x6 centers. So let's go to the other centers now. That's not the correct piece. Let's push this into the center so it can be the correct piece. So this is what we're gonna do. Remember green, this green needs to go right here. And we now have the two green bars, so let's complete it by putting another half edge in and putting another edge into the half edge to make a full edge. And one more time, we're gonna do that. And the same algorithm for putting in a corner over here, but now we're gonna do it like this way. Make sure, now before this move right here didn't have a purpose, but right here we have to move this piece up so that when we do a double move right here, then this piece will be green instead of, you know, whatever colors are there that's not green. So let's put these corners here again and do the same algorithm again. Oops, I bumped the camera. And next is the last two layers. So often, more times than not, you're gonna have a bunch of these edges ready to go. So we're just gonna insert these. And we're going to build the rest with that building algorithm I showed you guys. And now the centers are solved. So now what you can do is stop watching the video and apply the knowledge that you remember from 4x4 edges and put it on 6x6. But if you're feeling a little nervous about 6x6, that's all right. We'll go through the edge pieces now. So you should remember how to align them like this, align them like that, and then move them to the side to put a broken edge and put the centers back together. So let's find the rest of the orange pieces. Here's both of them actually. So one of them will fit in like this, and then we'll just put it to the side. Make sure that this orange piece is protected, and then it can't go like this because if we try to put this right here and do that, we'll have parity, which parity is not fun and it's stupid to intentionally let yourself get parity. So what we're going to do instead, do a double move and do another double move to make sure that this piece that we have originally right here goes into the edge. And then all we gotta do is move the edges, and we do it again. So these two pieces align, so we'll do that. And we got lucky right here. We have the other piece made, so we can kind of treat these like 4x4 edges. So that was pretty easy. So next we'll do blue. We have a blue piece right there and a blue piece right there. They align like that. We'll put them out of the way. And I noticed that this piece is also blue, and it also aligns already. So we have to do that. And look at that, blue and white again. So we're pretty lucky there. So next up is the green edge. What are we gonna do then? Because I'll show you guys. When we want to put it over here, that's just not an option anymore, because there are no broken edges that won't be hurt by this. So what we got to do is we're actually going to use this side of the cube now to put the edges in, and now we can actually continue to use this side of the cube for the rest of this edge piece. So we'll build it more, and we'll build it some more. Easy stuff. Okay, now there isn't the option, since we have a little bit of an edge right here, there is the option to continue this edge, but we don't need to actually do that, because I'll show you why that is, and I will continue the tutorial now. So make a cross is what we want to start with, same way that we start when solving a 3x3, and then you're going to insert the corners. So let's begin that now. Corners, corner, and corner. So next, what you're going to do is you're going to find a piece that's like this. You want to find a blue and red piece that can go right here. See, blue and red. It doesn't have to be blue and red for your first one, obviously. It can be any of the colors. And you're going to do the same algorithm that you do to solve the first two layers of a 3x3, but now you're just going to do it on a 6x6. And you should, if you know how to solve a 4x4, you should know how 6x6 functions, how all big cubes are essentially solved with solving centers, the edges, and then solving it like a 3x3. I do it a little bit different on here, and I teach it a little bit different because that's just how I teach it. So next is a case like this, where we actually want to put this piece right here, but we already have an edge right there. So what are we going to do? We're going to do this. And then we're going to put the one edge piece that we want to put in right there that we think will align. And it's just like on a 3x3. And so we have another piece like that again. Okay, and then there's going to be one last piece. We have it right here, right in the back. So let's fix it. And this time we just take this edge piece and put it right there to solve it like that. And then we need to find the outer red and green edge piece. And this one is technically an outer red and green edge piece, but it actually doesn't work for what we want to do, because if we try to insert it like this, then it's flipped the wrong way. So this piece actually belongs right here. And luckily we did actually find the right piece. It is red and green, and it goes right here like that. And it just so happens to have another piece right here. So let's solve it like this, the way that we normally would solve the first two layers. And then let's insert this piece to right here. Okay, and then next we're going to want the second layer. To finish the second layer, we're going to want this green and orange piece, and it appears that that piece is occupying another place. So what we're going to do instead is we are going to unoccupy it. by taking this green and red piece that belongs right here and putting it where it belongs with the algorithm that we used before. And now that piece is free. So it's right here. So all we gotta do is put it in. That's the wrong piece. I'm looking at the wrong piece right now. Where is it? Oh, okay, this was the right piece. But that's all right. So let's just put in this piece now. Okay, now it is all correct. And look at that funny. These have aligned like that, so they're kind of like a 4x4. So we're gonna solve them the same way. No need for any extra fancy algorithms. And by this point, you should still know how to solve a 4x4. Okay, so we got really lucky right here. Normally, you have to solve these internal edges the same way that you would solve a 4x4. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna mix up these center edges. Okay, so now that they are mixed up, well, these three are, we're gonna solve it the way that we would solve a 4x4. A 4x4 edge pieces. 4x4 last layer edge pieces, I should say. Alright, so again, we all know how to solve a 4x4 here, so that's just what I did. So next up is a 5x5. Now the cube is reduced into a 5x5 officially, so we are going to treat it like that. So our first order of business is to make one of the last layer edges completely made. So we'll do that like this. Okay, so now that one of those is made, now we need to make it so that there is a bar on each side. And I will show you this on 5x5. This is what it looks like on 5x5, where we have, let's just move this over here. We have an edge piece that's completely made. We have a bar, and a bar. And the way we go about solving this is this. And now we have a 3x3, which if you know how to solve a 4x4, you know how to solve a 3x3. So back to the 6x6, we have bar, bar, and bar. Now this is a very interesting bar. This is what we call parity. Now, if I see something like this, I know that I'm gonna have parity, and I will show you the algorithm for parity. It is actually the same parity on 4x4, but we're now gonna be performing it on a 6x6 and 5x5 if you get it on 5x5. So in order to solve this, we do have to do some algorithms. These are 3x3 algorithms that we just do to mix around the edges so that it's easier to get to. So it's easier to do this. So we have to do a double turn because this piece needs to go right here. Double turn. And then we now have a 3x3. Now the way that you need to look at this parity is you need to pay attention to the center, how the center two edges are, because that's just how Rubik's Cube laws work. So we're gonna solve this as if we were solving a 3x3. So we have CFOP done. Well, we have OL done, and then you know what? I just remembered something. 6x6 has its own parity too. Okay, so if we remember correctly, 4x4 has a parity for, 4x4 has a parity for edge switching, which is done like this. Edge switch, and it's really easy to do. Really easy stuff. So back to 6x6, we're just going to do the same thing and make sure that you are doing a complete slash, moving 3 layers on your first turn. And also make sure that you're moving the inner 2 layers on your second turn. Okay, now the cube is at a solvable position. This, it might be hard to recognize with parity, but this is actually a T-perm. So we will simply solve it like one, but now we are down to the last two edges. Well, how do we do it on a 4x4? We do it like this. By the way, guys, I learned how to do that slowly just for you guys, so you better be grateful. So now we're gonna do the same thing on a 5x5, I mean a 6x6, not a 5x5, you silly goose. And it's the same thing on a 5x5 if you know how to solve a 5x5, but you don't necessarily need to know how to solve a 5x5 in order to learn how to solve a 6x6, because you turn a 6x6 into a 5x5, and then that's just it's easy. It's so easy. So you do the same thing. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my hands are so sweaty because I get so nervous every time I perform that algorithm on camera. But anyway, that is how you solve a 6x6.